the ladder shook. Not because of the wind, not because of the enemy's arrows. It shook because the man climbing it was trembling. Below him, dozens of soldiers waited in silence, their breaths shallow, their hands slick with sweat. Above him, hidden behind stone walls and boiling oil, death was waiting patiently. He could still turn back. No one would blame him. No one would even remember his name. But if he climbed one more step, he might become a hero or a corpse. And in that moment, balanced between glory and oblivion, he asked himself the same question thousands of soldiers had asked before him. Why am I doing this? For most of human history, wars were decided not by machines or missiles, but by bodies. Flesh against stone, steel against bone. And nowhere was this more brutally clear than during a siege. A city under siege was a fortress of fear. High walls, guarded towers, narrow gates. Inside, civilians, soldiers, supplies. Outside, an army desperate to break in before hunger, disease, or politics forced them to retreat. Weeks could pass, months, sometimes years. Food ran low, morale collapsed, commanders grew impatient, and eventually someone would give the order, "Bring the ladders." Siege ladders were simple tools, long wooden frames with narrow rungs. They leaned against the walls and offered one thing, a way up and a way to die. Because climbing a siege ladder meant becoming the most visible target on the battlefield. Archers aimed first at the climbers. Stones were dropped on their heads. Spears waited at the top. Boiling water, oil, and sand poured down. The first man up almost never survived. Everyone knew this. So why did anyone go first? Let's begin with the simplest answer. Fear. Not fear of death, fear of something worse. In ancient and medieval armies, discipline was brutal. Desertion, hesitation, or refusal to fight could mean execution, sometimes on the spot. A soldier who refused to climb might be beaten, stripped of rank, shamed, or killed. Imagine standing in formation while your commander points at you. Go. You look up. You know you will probably die. You look back. You know refusing guarantees punishment. So you climb. Not because you're brave, because you're trapped. Many heroes of sieges were simply men who had no safe choice. But fear was not the only force. Some soldiers climbed because they wanted to. Because in a world without social media, universities, or career ladders, war was one of the few ways to become someone. If you were poor, unknown, and powerless, the battlefield was your only stage. Climbing first meant visibility. Everyone saw you. If you survived, everyone remembered you. Kings rewarded bravery with gold, land, titles, and status. A farmer could become a knight. A peasant could become a lord, all by surviving one impossible climb. Many armies even offered special rewards to the first man over the wall, extra pay, promotions, medals, public praise. So when the ladders went up, some men didn't see death, they saw opportunity. One moment, one chance, one climb to escape obscurity forever. War creates strange families. Men sleep together, eat together, bleed together, die together. After months in a siege camp, soldiers knew each other better than their own relatives. They shared stories, jokes, dreams, fears. And when the ladders appeared, something powerful happened. No one wanted to be the coward. If your friend climbed, could you stay behind? If your unit moved forward, could you freeze? Cowardice didn't just mean fear, it meant isolation. It meant the man everyone whispered about, the one who stayed back, the one who let others die for him. Many soldiers climbed because of shame, because the thought of living as the coward was worse than dying as the brave. For much of history, soldiers believed their lives were guided by fate, by gods, by divine plans. Death was not random, it was scheduled, already decided. So if today was your day to die, you would die, ladder or not. And if it wasn't, nothing could touch you. This belief gave courage, or at least numbness. Some soldiers climbed while whispering prayers. Others believed angels would protect them. Some believed martyrdom would guarantee paradise. To them, the ladder was not just wood, it was a bridge between this life and the next, between suffering and eternal reward. Sieges were slow killers. Armies starved. They froze. They rotted from disease. Morale collapsed. Sometimes climbing the ladder wasn't about winning, it was about ending misery. Imagine living in mud for months, eating moldy bread, watching friends die of fever, listening to commanders argue, hearing rumors of retreat, of defeat, of abandonment. In those moments, death in battle could seem merciful. Better to die quickly on the wall than slowly in the camp. Some soldiers climbed because they were tired of surviving. There is another, quieter reason: momentum. In every charge, every assault, there is a moment when hesitation ends. One man moves, just one. He steps forward, grabs the ladder, starts climbing, and suddenly everything changes. Others follow, not because they decided, because stopping feels impossible. Psychologists call this group momentum. Once motion begins, resistance collapses. The first climber often didn't plan to be first. He simply moved half a second earlier, and history followed. Let me tell you about Marcus. Not a famous general, not a noble, just a Roman infantryman during a siege in Gaul. He was 22. He missed his mother. He feared heights. On the day of the assault, his unit was ordered forward. Ladders rose, arrows fell, men screamed. Marcus stood frozen. Then he saw his closest friend, Lucius, grab a ladder. Lucius looked back. Their eyes met. In that moment, Marcus understood. If Lucius died alone, he would never forgive himself. So Marcus moved. They climbed together. Halfway up, Lucius was hit. He fell. Marcus didn't. He kept climbing, not because he was fearless, because he had nothing left to lose. Marcus reached the top. He fought. He survived. Years later, he would receive land and citizenship. But he never forgot Lucius, and he never claimed he was brave. He said only, "I didn't want my friend to die alone." When we read history, we see bravery, valor, glory. But behind every first climber was something human: fear, hope, love, desperation, faith, shame, or accident. Rarely was it pure courage. More often, it was a storm of emotions colliding in one terrible moment. The ladder didn't attract heroes, it created them or destroyed them. Today, we don't climb siege ladders, but we still admire those who go first. The first to speak up, the first to protest, the first to risk failure, the first to challenge power. We call them brave. But if we look closer, we'll see the same forces at work: fear of staying silent, desire for meaning, loyalty to others, belief in something bigger. The battlefield has changed. Human nature has not. So when you imagine that first soldier on the ladder, hands shaking, heart racing, death waiting above, remember this: he was not a myth, not a legend, not a statue. He was someone who loved, who feared, who doubted, who hesitated, and then climbed anyway. Not because he was fearless, but because in that moment, something mattered more than fear.